Welcome to Classic Storytime Hub. Tonight, we unravel the triumphs of a taxidermist by H.G. Wells, a chilling tale reimagined in English with fresh suspense and cinematic flair.
He began to speak of taxidermy as though unveiling forbidden secrets. The words spilled out between his first and fourth glass of whiskey. Those dangerous hours when caution fades but drunkenness has not yet claimed its grip. We sat together in his den, a strange hybrid of library, dining room, and sitting room, divided only by a thin bead curtain from the reeking workshop where his craft was born. He lounged in a battered deck chair, tapping at stubborn lumps of coal with his slippered feet. Those slippers, ragged and hollow, dangled like relics upon the mantelpiece among rows of glass eyes that stared without blinking. His appearance was a grotesque spectacle. Trousers of hideous yellow plaid, hair black as soot, cheeks flushed with drink, and eyes that burned with a fiery brown light. His coat was more grease than fabric, and his crooked spectacles gave him a lopsided gaze, one eye sharp and piercing, the other magnified and strangely gentle. Then his voice rose with pride. "No man alive can stuff as I do, Bellows. I have given new life to elephants and moths alike. Even men, yes, men have stood in my workshop, preserved by my hands. Imagine it, companions who never interrupt, who never leave. Why bury or burn the dead when they can remain with us, varnished and eternal? A household of familiar faces, animated with clockwork, ready to serve or simply to listen. Taxidermy, my friend, is the future." At that, his words faltered. The fire in his eyes dimmed, and silence fell heavy in the room. He hesitated, drawing deeply on his pipe, the smoke curling like secrets he dared not speak. "No, perhaps I shouldn't tell you this," he murmured, then nodded toward the glass in your hand. "Yes, thank you. Just a little water." His voice dropped, conspiratorial.
"What I share now must remain between us. You've heard of the dodo, the great auk. Of course you have. But let me tell you, half the great auks displayed in museums and private collections are no more authentic than relics of saints. We fashion them from grebe's feathers, stitched and painted until they pass for the real thing. And the eggs. The eggs. Fine porcelain, dusted and aged until no collector dares to clean them. One sold for £300 not long ago. Genuine, perhaps, but who can ever be certain?" He leaned closer, eyes gleaming. "You see, taxidermy has risen to heights you cannot imagine. I have rivaled nature herself. One of the so-called genuine great auks," his voice fell to a whisper, trembling with pride, "was made by me." He chuckled softly, then straightened. "A syndicate once approached me, you know. Dealers who wanted me to stock an untouched island north of Iceland with specimens of my own creation. I may yet do it, but for now I have another project. Ever heard of the Deinonychus, the moa of New Zealand? Extinct, they say. Bones, feathers, scraps of skin remain, enough for me to work wonders. I shall forge a complete stuffed moa. A friend will claim to have found it in a swamp preserved by chance. The feathers are tricky, but I've devised a way. singed ostrich plumes, disguised to perfection. That smell you noticed? My latest experiment. He sat back, satisfied, smoke drifting around him like a shroud. They'll never dare to test it. Who would destroy such a prize for the sake of suspicion? And so, my friend, I give my little push in the advancement of science. All that, he said with a dismissive wave, is mere imitation of nature. But I have surpassed her. He lowered his feet from the mantel, leaned in close, and whispered with a gleam of triumph. I have created birds, Bellows. New birds, improvements, creatures no eye has ever seen before. A heavy silence followed, broken only by the faint crackle of the fire. And then he continued, voice swelling with pride.
I have enriched the universe. Some of my inventions were delicate hummingbirds, shimmering jewels of air. Others, stranger. The strangest of all was the Anomalopteryx jejuna, named for its emptiness, for it was nothing but stuffing. Yet it was magnificent, a masterpiece. Imagine the clumsy bulk of a pelican, the pompous solemnity of a parrot, the awkward stretch of a flamingo, and the riotous colors of a mandarin duck all fused into one impossible bird. That, Bellows, was my creation. I built it from the bones of a stork and a toucan, dressed it in a chaos of feathers. Pure joy, the work of a true artist. He chuckled, recalling the origin of his invention. The idea came from a blunder. Some young journalist, translating a German pamphlet on New Zealand birds, confused the living apteryx with the extinct Anomalopteryx. He wrote of a rare, towering bird, 5 feet high, haunting the jungles of the North Island. Javers, poor fool, ignorant even for a collector, read those lines and swore he must have won. He hounded dealers, demanded specimens, insisted with all the force of his will. And in the end, he got it. He got the bird that never was, that never could be, and it was mine. Another whiskey, Bellows? The taxidermist stirred from his brooding, his mind wandering through the strange mysteries of willpower and the obsessions of collectors. With his glass replenished, he leaned forward, eyes gleaming, and began another tale. He spoke of a mermaid, one of his most alluring creations, so lifelike, so captivating, that crowds gathered in wonder. Yet its fame was short-lived. An itinerant preacher, furious that no one listened to his sermons while the mermaid drew throngs, declared it blasphemy. In a fit of righteous fury, he smashed the creature to pieces at Burslem wakes. The quarrel between creator, preserver, and destroyer was so coarse, so unfit for polite ears, that the details remain better left untold. To the uninitiated, his stories may sound like drunken fantasies, but I found his claims echoed by respected ornithologists. The forged great auk eggs, the counterfeit birds, these were not mere inventions. Even the infamous note about the New Zealand species had appeared in a reputable morning paper, a copy of which the taxidermist proudly kept as proof of his audacious deceit.
And thus the story ended. If you liked this journey into the worlds of classic literature, do not forget to support us by subscribing so we can tell you more. And hey, if there's a classic tale you'd love to hear told in this suspenseful style, drop its name in the comments below. Your suggestion might be our next chilling adventure.